confine myself to bare minimum introduction. Ms. Padma has served as a classroom teacher in various institutions in Tamil Nadu, then moved to NIMH. Now the institute is called as NIE PIT at Secunderabad. She had almost served for 12 years in various capacities as a research officer in the projects of UNICEF. She was the member of teaching and training faculties, principal of Special Education Center, in charge of Regional Center Mumbai, and another in charge of Vocational Training Center Secunderabad. Ms. Padma is living and working in United States for about 23 years. During this time, she has been working with different age groups, starting from babies to adults, which include regular school systems too. She has also been consulting and mentoring university level students. At present, she took retirement, but still continues to work with school district consultant as a consultant. When we have invited her, we requested her to talk on role of regular education teachers in special education, keeping in mind about our graduate students' requirement. Hence, this special session will be in bilingual mode, primarily for the benefits of the students. Last but not the least, Ms. Padma Rajagopal is my mentor who has introduced me to the field of special education. With that note, I invite Ms. Padma to give her speech. Over to Padma Rajagopal, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shankar Narayanan, for that lovely introduction. எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். First, I would like to thank the organizers of this program and Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and also Lakshmi College of Education, Gandhigram, for this opportunity. And I also just want to say special thank to Dr. Tall and her puppy. Looks very cute. I hope she's there because I don't see her. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi to her, special hi. I just wanted to, Shankar, I wanted to make sure that it's already 45 minutes over. So do I get 1 hour or how do I go about it? Could somebody... What?
I think you can continue, Ka. If there is any issue, I will let you know. You can continue your talk without any disturbance. Please go ahead.
No, would I get 1 hour?
Yeah, of course, your talking time will be 45 minutes, 10 minutes per question we have.
Okay.
So 45 minutes you can go.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. நான் முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் because he said it's multilingual பேசுறேன், நான் தமிழ்ல பேசுறேன். என்ன கொஞ்சம் ப்ராப்ளம் வரும்னா சில வார்த்தைக்கெல்லாம் சட்டுன்னு தமிழ் வராது, ஞாபகம் வராது, தெரியாம இல்ல, ஞாபகம் வராது. அதை சேஞ்ச் பண்றதுக்கு கொஞ்சம் டிஃபிகல்டிஸ் இருக்கும். அதனால மன்னிச்சுங்க, நான் இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொன்னேன். ஆனா நான் ரெண்டுலையுமே சொல்லி எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றதுக்கு ட்ரை பண்றேன். ஓகே, வென் சங்கர் அப்ரோச் என்ன வந்து பேசுறீங்களா அப்படின்னு கேட்டப்போ நான் சொன்னேன், ஆடியன்ஸ் யாரு அப்படின்னு கேட்டேன். வந்து இது மாதிரி டீச்சர் எஜுகேஷன் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. அவங்களுக்கு டீச்சர் எஜுகேஷன்ல ஸ்பெஷல் எஜுகேஷன் ஒரே ஒரு சாப்டர் தானப்பா இருக்கும், அது கூட நான் பிடி படிக்கிறப்ப எனக்கு அது கூட இருந்தது கிடையாது அப்படின்னு. இல்ல கொஞ்சம் பேர் வந்து ஆல்ரெடி ஸ்கூல்ல ஒர்க் பண்றாங்க, செகண்ட் இயர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க, அவங்களுக்கு தெரியும். ஸ்கூல்ல ஒர்க் பண்றவங்க they have come across special education students and then the புதுசா வந்திருக்கிற SSA and RMSA ப்ரோக்ராம்லாம் என்னமோ சொல்றாங்க, அவங்களுக்கு புரியல என்னன்னு, அதனால நீங்க கொஞ்சம் பேசினா நல்லா இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டப்ப எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருந்தது. Teachers are already having some idea about what is special education. Of course, nowadays you hear this term மாற்றுத்திறனாளின்ற அந்த ஒரு பேரை தமிழ்நாடு பூரா எங்கேயும் கேட்கிறோம். அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்டான நேமை யூஸ் பண்ணதே நம்ம ஒருத்தவங்க தான்றத நம்ம இந்தியாவில மட்டும்தாங்கிறத நம்ம பெருமைப்பட்டுக்கணும். ஏன்னா எல்லா இடத்துலயும் இன்னும் வந்து the term for special needs or person with disability அப்படிதான் சொல்லி கூப்பிடுவாங்களே தவிர நம்ம தான் வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்ட்லி ஏபிள்டு மாற்றுத்திறனாளிகள்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஆனா அது இப்போ ஒரு காமன் இதா போயிடுச்சு. யாராவது மீட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா கேட்டாவோ ஐ ஹாவ் அ சன் வித் ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. இப்போ ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ்னா என்ன, ஏன் ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ் அப்படின்றது முதல்ல தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். நம்ம ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ்னா ஒரு நான் கூட எனக்கு வாழ்க்கையில எல்லாருமே ஒரு விதத்துல ஏதோ ஒரு சமயத்துல ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸா இருக்கிறதுக்கு சந்தர்ப்பம் இருக்கு. ஒரு உதாரணம் சொல்லணும்னா, நான் கண்ணாடி போட்டிருக்கேன். அந்த கண்ணாடி எடுத்தாக்கா ஐம் ஆல்மோஸ்ட் ஐ கான் சி எனிதிங். இப்பவுமே சங்கர் கிட்ட வந்து நீ லிங்க் டைரக்டா அனுப்பு, என்ன மாதிரி டைப் பண்றதுக்கு அனுப்புனா எனக்கு வந்து விஷுவல் கான்ட்ராஸ்ட் இஷ்யூ ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு. அதனால என்னால வந்து சரியா அந்த லிங்கை பார்த்து டைப் பண்ண முடியல அப்படின்னா எனக்கு வந்து இந்த கண்ணாடி போடுறது வந்து இட்ஸ் டெம்பரரி ப்ராப்ளம். அதே மாதிரி கை அடிபட்டோ கட்டு போட்டிருக்காங்கன்னா பட்டன் போட முடியலன்னா யாரோ ஒரு உதவியோட அந்த பட்டனை போட்டுப்போம். ஆனா அது சரியா போனோம்னு திரும்ப நார்மலா எல்லாரும் போல நம்ம முன்னாடி எப்படி இருந்தோமோ அந்த மாதிரி எல்லா வேலையும் செய்ய முடியும். அது மாதிரி எல்லாரும் ஒரு விதத்துல ஏதோ ஒரு காலகட்டத்துல அது மாதிரி ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ் தேவையா இருக்கிறதுக்கு சான்சஸ் இருக்கு. ஆனா இந்த நான் சொன்ன உதாரணம் அதெல்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப டெம்பரரி. ஒரு மருந்து சாப்பிட்டோ இல்ல ஒரு கட்டை போட்டுட்டோ ஒரு கிரட்சை வச்சுட்டோ இல்ல கண்ணாடி போட்டுட்டோ அந்த ப்ராப்ளத்தை இப்ப நம்ம வந்து தீர்த்துடலாம். அதனால அது பர்மனன்ட் கிடையாது. ஆனா இந்த ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ் நம்ம இப்ப பேச போறது யாருன்னா, பர்மனண்டா அவங்களுக்கு வந்து அந்த டிசபிலிட்டி வந்து சர்ஜரினாலேயோ இல்ல மருந்து கொடுத்தோ இல்லை வேற ஏதாவது பண்ணுனா வந்து பர்மனண்டா அது வந்து போகாது, இருக்கும். ஆனா நம்ம கொடுக்குற அந்த சிறப்பான கல்வி முறையினாலையும் பல டிவைசஸை யூஸ் பண்ணி அவங்களுக்கு இப்படி பண்ணலாம் அப்படி பண்ணலாம்னு எப்படி அவங்கள இண்டிபெண்டா ஆக்குறோமோ பண்ண முடிஞ்சா அவங்களால நம்மள மாதிரியும் இருக்க முடியும் அப்படிங்கிறது. அது வந்து கைண்ட் ஆஃப் லாங் டேர்ம் ஆர் பர்மனன்ட் டிசபிலிட்டி, பர்மனன்ட் ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ். அப்ப சரி யாரெல்லாம் இந்த ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்றவங்க இந்த அம்ப்ரெல்லாக்குள்ள வருவாங்க அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு பெரிய லிஸ்டே இருக்கு. நான் வந்து கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா அண்ட் கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் தமிழ்நாடு இதுல எல்லாம் போய் செக் பண்ணி பார்த்தேன். அவங்க வந்து சில பேரெல்லாம் இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணல, பட் ஐ டெஃபினெட்லி நோ தட் தே ஆர் கோயிங் டு டூ இட். ஏன்னா நிறைய மாற்றங்கள் ஏற்பட்டிருக்கு நம்ம நாட்டுல இப்போ. ஸோ இப்ப யாரெல்லாம் இந்த ஸ்பெஷல் நீட்ஸ் நம்ம சொல்லுவோம்னா, individuals who have physical impairment, students who have blindness or low vision or visual impairment, or students with intellectual disability or cognitive disability or developmental disabilities, students with deaf blindness, deaf and hard of hearing, people who have traumatic brain injury, people who have some psychiatric issues, people who have learning disabilities, autism spectrum disorder, gifted and talented, communication disorders, இந்த மாதிரி லிஸ்ட் போயிட்டே இருக்கும். So these people come under the umbrella of special needs. ஏன்னா இப்ப பிளைண்ட் இருக்காங்கன்னு சொன்னா, பிளைண்ட் பீப்புள் இருக்காங்கன்னு சொன்னா அவங்களுக்கு கண்ணு நம்ம வந்து ஆப்ரேஷன் பண்ணியோ இல்ல வேற மருந்து கொடுத்தோ எல்லாம் பண்ண முடியாது. அவங்களுக்கு வந்து நம்ம வேற விதத்துல சொல்லி கொடுக்கணும். அந்த மாதிரி சொல்லி கொடுத்தா பிரெயிலோ இல்ல பிரெயில் ரீடிங் ரைட்டிங் ஒயிட் கேனை கொடுத்து அவங்கள வந்து டிராவல் பண்றதுக்கு இண்டிபெண்ட் ஆக்கலாம். அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணணும்னா அவங்களால நம்மள மாதிரி இண்டிபெண்டா ஒரு லைஃபை லீட் பண்ண முடியும். ஸோ இப்ப பார்த்தோம் நம்ம எல்லாம் இவங்கதான் they all come under that umbrella. நான் இப்ப அவங்களுக்கு எப்படி இந்த கல்வி முறையை கொடுக்கறதுங்கிறது தான் ஒரு இதை பேச போறோம் நம்ம. இதுல என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஸ்பெஷல் எஜுகேஷன், சிறப்பு கல்வி முறை அப்படின்னா என்ன? சிறப்பு கல்வி முறைங்கிறது சிறப்பு கல்வி முறை அப்படிங்கிறது நான் முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் தமிழ் சொல்ல ட்ரை பண்றேன், இல்லைன்னா இங்கிலீஷ் தான் சொல்லணும். அவங்களுக்கு என்ன குறையா இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணி
நீங்க இங்கிலீஷ் நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
comfortable with
feel free to use
English, ma'am. So no issue.
Too many people are talking at the same time. It's difficult.
Madam, please go ahead
So,
in English. No problem.
okay. So what is special education? Special education is identifying and defining the unique needs of individuals who have
Anna, you
special
proceed, Anna.
needs.
English, no issues, madam.
And then identifying their issues and then placing them in a appropriate place, schools or colleges or workplace in a least restrictive environment. ஏன்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்னா அவங்களுக்கு என்ன எந்த விதமான குறைவு இருக்கு, அதுக்கு என்னென்னலாம் பண்ணுனா அவங்க வந்து எல்லாரும் மாதிரி மற்ற ஸ்டூடெண்ட் மாதிரி இது பண்ண முடியும். அந்த எஜுகேஷனுக்கு வந்து கரெக்டான சரியான சூழ்நிலையில கொண்டு போய் அவங்களுக்கு அந்த கல்வியை கொடுக்கணும். அப்ராப்ரியேட் பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் அப்படின்னா என்ன, ஒரு பையன் வீல் சேரை யூஸ் பண்ற பையன் நான் போய் ஒரு 3 அடுக்கு மாடி, அதுல வந்து ரேம்ப் கிடையாது, எலவேட்டரும் கிடையாது, then he has to go to the second floor. கிளாஸ்னா எப்படி போக முடியும் அந்த பையனால? So it's not an appropriate placement for that person. Also, it's not a least restrictive environment. Least restrictive environment என்னன்னா இந்த மாதிரி அவங்களுக்கு எந்த பேரியரும் இருக்கக்கூடாது. நம்ம பேரியர்னு சொன்னா பில்டிங் மட்டும் தான் நினைப்போம், அப்படி கிடையாது. There are so many other things could be a barrier to anybody. So அதுதான் ஸ்பெஷல் எஜுகேஷன் நம்ம சொல்றோம். சிறப்பான கல்வி முறையை அவங்களுக்கு ஒருத்தருக்கு என்னென்ன தேவையோ அதை பார்த்து சொல்லணும். ஸோ ஸ்பெஷல் எஜுகேஷன்ங்கிறது highly individualized. It's very much goal oriented. It focuses on overall development of any individual. For example, என்ன சொல்லணும்னா, இப்ப நம்ம ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் நம்ம ரெகுலர் கிளாஸ்க்கு வந்தா நம்ம அதை மட்டும்தான் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம். கிளாஸுக்கு வரியா, கிளாஸ்ல ஒழுங்கா இருக்கியா, பாடம் படிக்கிறியா, நிறைய மார்க் வாங்குறியா, அதை மட்டும்தான் நம்ம ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம். ஆனா ஸ்பெஷல் எஜுகேஷன்ங்கிறது அந்த இண்டிவிஜுவல் நம்ம கிட்ட வந்தா அவங்களுக்கு எஜுகேஷன் மாத்திரம் கிடையாது, சைக்கோ சோஷியல் எமோஷனல் செல்ஃப் கேர், இல்லைன்னா இண்டிபெண்டன்ட் லிவிங் ஸ்கில்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். அதுவும் அவங்களுக்கு தெரியுதா அப்படின்னு பார்க்கணும். So we look at the student or a child or a baby or an adult as a whole person and look into all attributes of life, how they function and where their needs are. So that's how the program is done. Also, it is individualized. There is no tailor-made program or a thing that, okay, நீ உனக்கு கண்ணு தெரியலையா, இதுதான் உனக்கு எடுத்துட்டு போ, காது கேட்கலையா, this is what you have. Or developmental disability, reading disability, dyslexia irka, okay, this is what you have. I don't know, Shankar is calling me, why?
It's better you move to English because many people are requesting to listen to your talk from abroad.
Okay, I'll stick to English. Where did I stop? I think I was saying that, okay, special education, okay, special education is very highly individualized and goal-oriented. So individualized means it's programmed for each and every individual child according to the need of that particular individual student. And it is very much goal-oriented because we write we call an individualized education program, we write goals. Goal is like any other student in the school system. And then what is the goal for students to come to school, get educated, go to college, and get a job so that you can be a productive individual of the society. That's what the main aim of education. So same way, we also write the goals, and we write a very specific goals and objectives, which is measurable and observable. Like a school system, you give a test, and they have a, you give the marks or grades. That is very observable, and also it's measurable. We measure by giving them the grade. And test materials are visible to you, and you can see the students have done it and they're doing it. So we are in special education also, we write goals and objectives like that so that everybody can see and measure it. And also, as I said before, it is a holistic approach, not just a compartmental approach or just see, okay, this is a tailor-made. We don't do that. And also it leads to independence. We are not going to be there for them all the way through their life. That's what happens with every other student who comes to our school. They are there with us, elementary school and high school, and after 12th grade, they are out and we don't know what's happening to them. We are not following them. The same way our students, we aim at independence. With all the support we are going to give, they need to be able to independently do that and master the skills and be able to transfer those learned skills to different, whenever needed. That's what we all do. If PO timetable is still, we remember, right? Multiplication plus and PO when we learned all this mathematics and everything long time ago, but we still remember all of that. So same way they are expected to do that. And how do we do this? It is a team approach. Like regular school, maths teacher just focuses on maths and she doesn't have to consult anybody. Or science teacher comes to the class and teaches science and then she goes. But with the special needs children, it's a team approach. Why I say the team approach is, the students does not only require a special education teacher to help in the classroom or teach them in separate place, they may need other therapies, other specialists coming in and helping them. For example, a student with cerebral palsy may need a physical therapy, therapist assisted support, and occupational therapy, and speech therapy. I'm not saying everybody needs all this, because I'm saying this with the general characteristics of cerebral palsy. Most of them will have gait issue, and they will have a hand-eye coordination issue, and also some of them will have speech issues. So this student not only needs a special education teacher support, also needs support from a PT, support from an OT, support from a speech pathologist. In addition to it, he may have other issues, cerebral palsy with autism, or cerebral palsy with developmental disabilities, or cerebral palsy with blindness. It could be any combination of an impairment. So we need to address each and everything, and they need everybody's support. So that's how special education works. Now, just before going a little further, I just wanted to say, because நான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணப்போ, நான் 70ல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண after I finished my B.Ed in special education. அப்போ பாத்தீங்கன்னா, I'm sorry for going into Tamil. At that time, there were very few schools, primarily located in major cities like Madras, Chennai, Madurai, Coimbatore, Trichy, those places, and mostly run by private NGOs. And also it was considered as a charitable work, not as an education. They did it as a charitable work. But now if you look at it, from 1970s to now, we have moved away from the charitable opinion to education, like everybody else. Now, the present trend is that the students should have to be educated in a regular classroom like any other classroom. Meaning, wherever your children goes to, the same place my child has to go. Not separated. So the model, if you look at the model so far, is usually it's a special education school They go to that special education school where it is just oriented to, everything is oriented to and addressing to the need of people with special needs in that school. So many people will be very comfortable in that situation because they have their own peers there. But the trend right now is, you hear the term mainstream, inclusive education, integrated education, inclusion, all those terms. So that is the trend that we are, including India, is trying to go. My understanding is the 1995 Disability Act, it says very clearly that children with special needs need to be included in the regular education system, and they have to have all of the support that they needed to achieve their goals. That's what it says. So that's just a small gist for a history that where we were before and where we are. Now let's come to the model that I was talking, because that's the thing that you want to know. So there are models. The first model is special education school, where all the kids to go to special education. That is separated from regular education. And technically, that school is a least restrictive, not a least restrictive environment. It's a very restrictive environment because it is segregating them, it is separating them from the regular school students, their age group students, where they go. So that is one model. And the model that you may see that more in Tamil Nadu and in India more, because a lot of people are starting schools for special needs kids, and they are in a separate program. Now the second one is mostly integrated or mainstream. This model is, a school may have a block or a section of a hall or a floor of a school, regular school, having a self-contained classroom, meaning all the special needs kids will be there for every other class, stay in the same class. They'll have whatever devices they need. The special education teacher, everybody will be there. They'll have their own curriculum and they follow it. But that happens in a regular school building. That's one model. Now, in the same regular school, there could be a student be in a classroom, or high school classroom, or elementary school classroom. And for some classes, for example, math or science, he'll go to a resource teacher, a resource room, because he has difficulty in understanding math that is taught in the classroom, or English, or any subject that matter. So he goes to a resource teacher, and the resource teacher will do the same thing what the teacher is doing, but teach him in a different way, not coming on the board and the teacher just writes and the kids understand it, and then they copy the board. That this particular child may not be able to do what other students are doing in that math class. So goes to the resource room, and the resource teacher teaches him one-on-one, and what is the question and what is the topic that we are doing now and how it is done. So they may go in a slow pace, but eventually the student will learn because he has the extra support from the resource teacher. That is one model. The other model is the main thing, the mainstreaming, is that student comes to the classroom like everybody else, stays in the same classroom, will not go to any resource room, but there has difficulty in understanding and following instruction or directions from the teacher and doing the classwork. The teacher sitting next to him will tell him what to do, or if the student has a behavioral issue, he may address immediately, or any help the student needs, and this teacher who sits next to him will help in the same classroom. This teacher may not go, the student may not go here and there for help. The help is right there next to him. The next model is a homebound model, meaning some students may not be able to come to a classroom for some reason. I'm sorry. The student comes to school 3 months, and within 3 or 4 months, he falls sick. He's sick, and the doctor advises he can't go to school for 3 months. He has to stay home. What happens to the student? He can learn if you give us support. So the school system or the district has to provide whatever support he needs to learn whatever is happening in the classroom. It is kind of similar to what right now you're all doing, the virtual learning. Our students, other school students are online learning they are doing. It is kind of similar to it. What happens in that situation is the class teacher sends all the learning materials to this student or the caregivers. This week, this is what I'm doing in science. This week, I'm doing math. So every other thing, all the subject information goes to the parent or any caregiver, or if the student is independent and he's a young adult or an adult, he can himself know or switch on the computer or know what is going on. But the support will be there. His support that he got in the school, either the teacher who sat next to him, it could be that person, or the special education teacher who was in a self-contained classroom, and they might send one of the teachers there, the same support he will get there, or a resource teacher, he will get the resource teacher's assistant, and also all the devices that he has been using in the classroom or in the school when he was at school. So all this happens. These are some of the models that is practiced in the US, and I think India is probably going towards those models, but I'm not sure about the homebound model. But they're definitely into inclusion or mainstreaming education in a big way. Now, I was looking at NEPID, did I say that correctly? The old name was NIMH. I looked into their directory. It looks like Tamil Nadu has only 5 schools that has integration. But there's a lot of schools in Andhra and Telangana. They say they are all integrating. So I really don't know what regular integration is, because as I said, the self-contained classroom in a regular school, those children have special needs, everything related to them in the classroom, but they are integrated in the other programs like sports, music, art, and anything else. It happens in the school, like a Christmas celebration or birthday celebration. They say something called homecoming celebration or Diwali, that matter. So if the school is celebrating something, they participate in those common activities. So that is the integration. That's how they are integrated into the school with all other activities. But when it comes to education, they go to a special education classroom or to a resource room teacher. But in the IEP, how all these things happen is, in the IEP, individualized education program, will have all the details that has to happen for that particular academic year. So I was looking into this regular education program in India, and I found out an interesting report by Sri Upendra Kushwa he has answered a reply to Rajesh Sabha. And in that, he very clearly said, he talks about, I think he's from Department of School Education and Literacy Department. So he says this department has implemented this SSA, which is Sarva Siksha Abhiyan. And the other one is Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, which is for higher education, no, secondary education. The previous one, the SSA, is for elementary school education. Now, I'm not going to talk about, he describes a lot of things. The few points that I found out is, one, he says that both the SSA and RMSA students who are under that category, special needs, will get around 3,000 rupees annually for their educational purposes. And also they will get all the devices they need. That's what he says. And according to him, between 2015 and 16, he says to 22.86 lakhs children with special needs are enrolled at the elementary level of mainstreaming. And he also says that there are, in the higher education, where some 22 lakhs, I think. Secondary, yeah. Around 22 lakhs students have been enrolled in secondary school education. And it also says that therapeutic supports are all given to students. And says, where is this? It says some training. Yes, 2,22,602 staff members, teachers have been trained to modify the curriculum. That's what it says. This report is published on December 2017. So coming back to special education, the model, I have said some of the models that we work on. Now, what happens, next question you may be thinking is, okay, special education, what is special education? We know children have unique needs, you have to identify, you have to provide them all the support and place them in a appropriate placement, least restrictive placement. We have done all of that. Now, your question will be, the teachers who are working in the school system may be asking me, what do we do when they come to me? That's a problem, right? That's your biggest question. Now, there are two scenarios you may come across. One, if they are already under special education because you are in the high school student, means elementary school, something had happened. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking that in Tamil Nadu, kids have a passed up to 5th grade. So if they have any problem, I don't know how many teachers may be able to identify or how many people were identified, and God help, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, if they have come through that 5th grade and know everybody passed, and they come to you on the 6th grade level or 7th, 8th grade level, then they may not have any paperwork or any special needs support before. So I'll come to that group later. You may have some student who already identified as special needs, and what special needs he has, what his issues are, what kind of support therapy he needs, what are the accommodations he needed to need, and what would be a barrier in an environment. So all those details you may already have. That's one. So if that is so, your responsibility as a teacher is, because you need to know who the student is. So you need to know at least minimum about the student. So you will look into his medical records, medical part of the report. what happened to this child? Is there medical reason, or is there a genetic reason, or it could be traumatic brain injury, means the kid was okay until 5th grade and he got into an accident or fell somewhere or in a car accident. Now he became a special needs. So you get all those information in that section of the paperwork, IEP. IEP is a huge document. So you have that basic information, and also the specialist would have done an assessment, and there will be a report. Psychologist report, special education teacher report. If there is child needs a PT, there will be a PT assessment, there will be OT assessment, speech assessment, autism disorder assessment, or behavioral therapy information. All of those based on, I'm not saying every child has all this, based on what the child need is, you may have all this information in the file. So you can go through and understand what the student is all about. That's one. Now, so that you get some idea. The second one, the portion of the report that you IEP you need to look into is individualized education plan. You need to look. What goals this student has. Now, if you keep coming down, there will be a section that will say accommodations. What kind of accommodation this student needs to be successful in my classroom? For example, let me take a student with the total blindness. So the total blindness student needs Braille instruction, and also travel instruction with needs orientation mobility specialist. And then technology is a major part for people who are blind and visually impaired nowadays, because technology has made their life easy. So you need to teach technology. Basically, mainly, there are softwares that, it's a voice over talks for softwares. They install, and the student needs to know typing, how to listen to it. They need to listen and then understand what this computer talks to them, and how do I respond if I need it? How do I explore internet? So that you need that support. So all these things will be in there. If the student needs a PT, it will say the student will get a PT per week, 1 hour. OT per week, 1 hour. Resource room, every day, 30 minutes. Or sometimes, say, speech therapist, this child doesn't have that much difficulty in communication, but he needs some little bit support. So he may get the speech therapist support about 1 class or 2 class a month. So it all depends upon the specialists who do assessment, and they make the decision and the recommendation. I'm talking about accommodation section, which is very, very important for you to look into it, because that will say what kind of devices this child needs. Like example, I said Braille machine is important. The software, computer software is important. And then they also need a subscriber, Braille transcriber, because all the material the teacher teaches in the classroom today, that Braille transcriber will translate everything into Braille and give it to the student in advance. Because then only the student can read with his peers. The peers are reading the same book, and he's also reading the same book, but in a Braille format. Now, it is a class research responsibility to send that lesson plan or the material that needs for that class 1 or 2 weeks in advance to the transcriber, so that the transcriber gets everything ready when the class is actually happening. And also you need to think about blind person can't look at any pictures. If you draw a picture on the board, he can't see. So what do? If you send that picture to the transcriber, they will do a tactile map or tactile picture of that science lesson or tactile of a map, so that the student in the regular classroom does not miss anything that teacher talks. He has every material with him and he will follow like any other students are following. So you need to look into the accommodation section for what are the things the student needs. Why I'm emphasizing is what happens is, even in the US I'm talking about, what happens is that sometimes these devices don't come on time. The Braille machine does not come on time. And you may have to keep on calling people and emailing people, ask them to send it faster, because what we do is we go 1 week earlier than the school reopens on every break. So that 1 week teachers are supposed to plan and go to all the schools where the kids are, your students are, keep everything ready for them. All the materials, the Braille material, the Braille book, the Brailler, the computer, anything. Or the same thing with the students who have deafness. Excuse me. And students who have hard of hearing or deafness, some children with the deafness can hear something. So we have to amplify the sound. So they need a hearing aid. They need an interpreter. This interpreter, that's the support I was talking to you before. This interpreter for the deaf stays in the classroom all day long, except the lunch hour and the break. And just is an agent between teacher and the student, continuously signing what is the teacher saying, what is the student saying to the teacher, and what the teacher says to the classroom to the student. They have to continuously transfer or explaining these things to this student who has deafness. So all these things have to be ready. That is responsibility of us. When we go 1 week before, we see all my students have everything they needed when the school starts. So that's why I'm emphasizing the point that you look into the accommodation section so that you know what this kid needs, because you're not going to ask for anything. That's the responsibility of the special ed teacher. I'll come to that section, that part. So you need to know, so at least when the support system one day is absent, and you can help the student switch on that low vision aid or a CCTV, or adjust the hearing aid, or may be able to communicate, if you sign, may be able to tell the student what to do, or you can write it down and then show it to him. So you may be able to do that in an emergency. It happened to me when I was teaching a kid, a second grader. She had the teacher for the visually impaired has given her a device, but never switched on. Every time when I go, the teacher would complain that this device is not. Hello. The teacher is not. The teacher is not hooking this up, so the student are not able to use it. What happened because of that is the student was not able to see the board because she had low vision. It has to be enlarged in the computer closer so she can see what the teacher writes on the blackboard. And one day I couldn't just to keep quiet after 1 or 2 weeks. I said, let me see what happens. So I opened the box, I hooked it up, and then there you go. I switched on, the student just was able to see. Now, I want to emphasize too, what happened, the teacher never tried, because the class teacher for her is, that's not my cup of tea. That is a special education person, or the teacher for the visually impaired has to come and do it, and then she's not doing it, and I'm not touching it. There's another reason why she doesn't touch is, what if something happens? It's a very expensive equipment. What if something happened, that I'll be held responsible? So she doesn't want to touch it. Now, the second thing is, ethically, what I did was wrong. I overstepped overstepped my colleague's role, my co-worker's role. But that was wrong. However, I had to do it for the sake of the student because she was unable to learn anything because she had problem because she can't see what the teacher is writing. She can't see the teacher is asking her to copy whatever she wrote on the board, and then she can't do it. I gave her a small telescope to look into it. That the problem is telescope is for only a small viewing or a few minute viewing. We ask the kids to use it, not for a regular chalk blackboard reading, because reading is from left to right. You have to read the whole sentence. That would be very difficult to do with a telescope. So she had tough time, so I have to overstep and do it for the sake of the student. So that's why I'm emphasizing the point that as a classroom teacher, you need to know at least the bare minimum. In case of the student, the support system is not there, you will be able to help that student. Or there is another reason you need to know is at the end of the year, there's going to be an annual meeting and they might ask you, how is he doing in the classroom? You're going to report. And then at that time, you cannot say, the parents might ask you, why my child didn't do well in this class? You may not say, I don't know. He didn't get the braille, or he didn't get the glasses, or he didn't get the hearing aid, or what is it, Shankar? Yes, Shankar.
So you have 10 minutes more.
Okay, I'll try to finish it. I'm almost done. So you can't say that. I didn't know, they didn't come on, so it could be the reason. So you can't say that. But you could have tried it. You could have email communication with your administrator or whoever it is, and then you can present it. I tried and I didn't get it, so this is the result. So you will be answerable at the end of the year why my child is not doing it. So that's another reason you need to kind of know at least a bare minimum what this child actually needs. Now, mostly some of these services are provided as an itinerant basis. What is this itinerant teaching? Like me, I don't stay in one school. That one school is not only my responsibility. I go to all the schools in the district where my students are. So we have a caseload of 20. All the 20 may be in 20 different schools. But in my IEP, I would write, every week this child gets it, once in 2 weeks I go work in the school, or once in a month I go and see the student based on the need. So that is an itinerant model. That is that you go to school, you go to where the students are. You don't expect the students to come to you. So mostly that is the model happens in the US, and even in India, people are trying that model, but I don't know how that successful it will be. So before I really, I'm going to just give me a few more minutes, please. It's very interesting. Maybe academics who are listening to it is, I saw an NCERT report. It's a very interesting that some of the teachers, it says 88% of the teachers did not answer some of the questions. This is regular school teachers. They surveyed about integration. They said, we don't know how to integrate. They didn't answer that question. How did you integrate in your school? They said they didn't answer the question. Like that, there are few questions they asked specifically on special needs. Very large percent of teachers did not answer those questions. That's very interesting to know. Why they didn't answer, we don't know. So maybe you can look into it. There may be another area that probably researcher can focus on. So with that, I think I'm going to stop and give a few minutes for the participants to ask any questions. I just kind of summarized some of the things that I wanted to say. And before I really end, my request to all the participants, especially teachers who are working, when you address any students with the special needs, first to consider them as a person, then only their disability comes. So when you say, you must have noticed in my speech, I always said individual with the special needs, student with the special needs, children with the special needs. I gave the human first, respect to that human aspect of it. You have to say Padma with blindness or Shankar with hearing impairment. Give Shankar as a human, importance to the human aspect, then give the importance to handicap. Don't say handicapped children. When you say handicapped children, that means you're giving importance to the handicap, not the children. Be very, very passionate about what you do. Go a little bit beyond your, what do I say? Go out of the box and try to help. That's where everything happens. You need to think. Oh, I forgot to talk about the other group you may have. I'm sorry, I suddenly realized. The other group you may have in the classroom is who fell through the cracks and there is no intervention, no one know what happened, but they are in your classroom. You see some behavioral changes, a behavioral problem, or they are looking into the book so close, they can't write anything in there, failing in all the tests, or not coming to the school. You are observing some behavior that makes you think, what is going on with this child? So what do you do in that case is you approach your administrator, usually it's a social worker, and say, I find this student may have some special needs, I don't know, but you need to look into that aspect. Then the ball will roll. They will say, okay, we'll do something. They might first do an assessment, the social worker, and then the psychologist may do some functional or formal assessment, and then they will decide, because you have to look into all the variables, because sometimes the family, you're not educated, they're not helping them. Or the student is not eating food, so he doesn't have strength to read and write. Or he may be sick. We don't know. Or there may be some kind of seizure. Seizure disorder can cause a lot of educational issues. So we need to figure it out. That kind of students, you probably directly won't be able to do it. You can only refer to special education department or ask your school social worker. So to conduct all these things, you need a lot of trained professionals. There should be a regional center. There should be a district center. In Texas, where I work, we have 20 regional education centers. About each education center will have about 20, 30 school district under them. So if I have any issue, I just go to that center. So my coordinator, I say, hey, I need this for this kid. I'm having such and such issue. We don't have a deaf-blind teacher here. Can we get one from assessment from an outsider? So they would help us, do everything. So you need a wide range of people to help to help this special needs student in your classroom and your school achieve a goal like everybody else in the other, in the school. So with that, I once again thank everybody for listening to my rant. I don't know how much was helpful, but special education is not a small thing. It is just a huge thing, and then there's so much to learn. And I stop here, and I think I have a few more minutes for any question. You can ask a quick question. Otherwise, I think they're collecting your questions and they send it to me, and I will answer anything you ask. Believe me, I have worked here. You name a condition, disability, and I would have worked with everybody. In America. So I have tackled every situation that came in because I am a through and through a special educator, and I'm proud to be a special educator. And I wish all the teachers good luck. Open to questions.
Good morning, Padma ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, first of all, I would like to say congratulations for your informative and beautiful presentation. Myself,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Devashish Mahapatra. Myself, Dr. Devashish Mahapatra from Sambalpur University, Odisha. Ma'am, I have a little bit of doubt, or you may say I have just a query. Ma'am, is inclusion of children with severe intellectual disability a possibility in Indian context?
Okay, so what do you mean by integration? Well, according to you, what do you think you're talking about? In a mainstreaming, like sitting in the classroom, reading, writing, science, maths?
In the mainstream, ma'am, in the mainstream.
Mainstream. Okay, if only the student has developmental cognitive impairment, that is in a very low functioning level,
Yes, ma'am.
that may not be possible. But I wouldn't say no. They may function in a second grade level or third grade level, so you can modify the curriculum. They may still say that's why what happens is they have a special classrooms in the school system, and they do science, math, geography, history, everything in the same way, but the curriculum is modified.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. It depends upon the individual. I wouldn't say no, or I wouldn't say totally yes. It depends. If they're very, very low functioning and there are a lot of medical issues, it may not be possible. But if a student may have a lot of disabilities, I would say like that, maybe having multiple impairment, but the mental faculty, the cognitive is very tight, and then yes, that is totally possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely possible.
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, ma'am. I got your point, ma'am. Okay. Thank you,
Did
ma'am.
I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. Any more questions? Come on. It's so weird that I don't see my audience. I always tell my students when I taught undergraduate students and any student, it's a two-way traffic. If you don't ask me, I don't talk, I used to say.
Good morning, ma'am. This is
Yeah.
Singh. I'm a teacher in a school, Kendriya Vidyalaya in Chennai. And actually, in our school also, there are in few classes there are students like some they are blind, or means one or two in like sixth standard or seventh standard, or one student is like who cannot symptoms of we can say autism. Okay, but it's quite difficult to convince their parents that these children they're having some special needs. So they want their children to be studying in the same school. We are not able to convince them. So is there any method by which we can convince the parents? That is the thing, ma'am.
Thank you for the question. I actually wanted to say something about it in my speech. Like, you will definitely come across a lot of issues and challenges, especially parents. It's so in our culture, it's very difficult for parents to accept that. Huh?
It's very difficult because they don't want to agree that yes, their child is having some special needs. They don't want to agree a lot. They simply say that my child is not mad. It is not mentally disturbed. They use the words like these also.
Right, that is true. That happens here too. Don't think American people just accept it. No, it happens here too, but we make all efforts to make them understand. We give them a lot of literature to read. The test results, where do the parents go first? To the doctor, right? The doctor, if a doctor says, they will believe. So the doctor is the one who has to they are the ones who has to refer the children to school system. to the Department of Special Education and they have to send them to school. So the doctor says they will understand. So you may have to give them a lot of, if they are educated, you have to give them literature and the test materials, the assessment, different assessment people do. You have to show, see, look, this is what your son is capable of. We are not saying from our thing, this is what it is. And it takes a long time for parents to accept. But I had to tell you, a lot of things have changed. Maybe after the kid sang in Super Singer, probably a lot of people must have, oh, my child could be like this. They look normal, but they are not, otherwise they need other support because most of the autism student kids look very normal. And also as a teacher, you need to realize too, you can't force the parent. Parents know everything. So remember that. Parents are the first people who know everything about their own child. Now, as a teacher, not all autism children are having learning difficulty. No. So they are very capable. There are people with autism has achieved higher level of education. It is just sometimes we need to change ourselves to approach the parents and approach the students.
Yes.
There's no tailor-made method. So you have to, the psychologists, social workers, they can visit some of the autism school where the program is going on. Give them some videos to see. Or you keep on banging and then sometime around they will come around to say, well, I think I have, my child might have some problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am, understood. Thank you,
I have my closest friend. She's from England. She has only child who is about 40 years old. When he was very young, the school has told her that your son he looks like autism. She did not accept. She said he's very shy. Even today, she doesn't accept, but I know because I've seen him, how he behaves, how he talks, but he can drive and go. He passed his undergraduate, all of that, but he definitely has autism features. That's another thing. Where he belongs to the autism spectrum is important. These children may have autism lookalikes, have some features of autism. We usually be very careful when we say things to parents.
Yes, ma'am.
We consult others, and I consult my coworkers. Do you think what I'm thinking? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's call the coordinator and then say we are thinking like this. What do you say? We make the coordinator to tell the parents, and the coordinator will say, "Yeah, I think we'll do that assessment, and then we'll come to know." So that's how things happen. It's just establishing with the parent that kind of rapport, and it will take time. Parents, it's very difficult, extremely difficult.
Yes, please.
Yes, any other question? Well, the blind persons, they should know why he is blind and they should know.
Yes, ma'am. One student is studying in class 7. But still, what they do during examination, one other student is writing his exam, or his mother is writing the exam. So that practice is going on.
That's the right way to do it, but mother should not write it. There should be a person, a teacher, an aide. See, that's another thing. Here, almost every kid in the school has an aide, a teacher assistant or an aide. That aide is supposed to help. But the big exams, like our public exam, there should be a appointed proctors. They have to be the people who write the test and everything. But they have to be trained not to judgmental, not to write their own answer. Just whatever the student says, you have to write it there. And you have to read the question. Why? There is a lot of help for blind students in Madras. He should be able to read and write braille and stuff like that.
That's what I mean. It's quite difficult to build that rapport with the parents so that we can convince them that they should go for the braille system. Otherwise, how long this practice will work? That mother or some other student
Right.
writing the exam for him.
It's going to be difficult. They will know because he's in a younger grade now. So he may be passing all the grades. And then as it goes higher and higher, and public exam, 10th exam and 12th exam, 11th exam, who is going to help him?
That is the thing.
Well, they can do it. The same way like a mother is doing, somebody has to write. Again, the accommodation section, that's what I'm talking about, has to be mentioning. Now, many students need some breaks in between when they write exams.
Yes, ma'am.
So we write that also. When the student takes a public exam, every 20 minutes, the student needs 5 minutes break.
Mm-hmm.
So that is approved by the team and the parents. So when they are writing here, we call the public examiner something called STAR test. Every child has to take a STAR test. Basically, they take it on computer. So we have to train the student take on computer or paper. But we will write STAR test. This child cannot sit down for two hours. So he can take, instead of 2 hours, he can do it 3 hours.
Yes, ma'am. That provision is there. 1 hour extra for the
Right.
child.
So that's what they do. That's the accommodation that you make, adjustment you make for this particular student.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Yes, Ashwini, you have a question?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Nowadays, many parents are willing to give their special kids through the home schooling methods. What will be your suggestion for that, ma'am?
Well, homeschooling, it can be done. It's not that you cannot do, but you have to have, the parent have to get all the support from the school. As I said, every support that you give to your student in the classroom, that homeschool student also has to be assessed by professionals. Recommendation should be there, accommodation should be there, and it is the school district has to provide all the support service. Don't forget, our Constitution, Disability Act, everything says right to education, no child left behind. Everybody has to be educated. So also in the homebound, if that's what, so if the parents choose to do it, that it is our responsibility, the school, the district responsibility, or corporation, municipality, who is in charge of the school, in charge of the school system, is responsible for providing that service to that parent so that they can teach. Also sending a aide, or the mother has to get trained. You can train the mother. Yes, we treat it like any other student. Only the thing is happening, education is happening at home. Now, one more point I want to say is here, all the support, whatever I said, is only available for students who go to a government school. Private schools are not expected to provide anything. Nobody can go to the court. However, it is our responsibility, again, I told you about the regional education centers. They have to kind of make some arrangement in this, in the private school, that the student continues to get all the support that the student got in the public school system. If any parent goes to the private school very clearly says, if we don't have any special education here, we won't be able to provide these services. They will tell in advance. So the mother will go to the school district and say, this is the issue, but I want my child to go to this private school. We say, we know the issue, but we will be able to help you to an extent. Because we are not, by law, we are not supposed to provide that service. I don't know how India is going to tackle this situation. In India, we are not only vast. Now, I'm an itinerant teacher. When you apply for a job here, this kind of jobs, the first thing they'll say, you have to have a driver's license. Because I need to drive myself everywhere to provide service. I can't wait for a driver and school driver and a school bus or school car to take me anywhere. That would be very expensive. and each and individual have to have their way, because you have to go to rural areas wherever the students are, wherever the schools are located. Otherwise, each school has to have all the things you needed. That's impossible. Which PT, OT will come and stay in one school? If they go and do a private practice, they will earn more money than being in a school. So it has to be worked out. One more thing I wanted to say was you can make changes as teachers and the faculty members and teacher education university, everybody can work as in India, especially in Tamil Nadu, this program of educating special needs is still under welfare department, social welfare department. When you say welfare, all your effort for education falls down. It does not work. It's not a welfare, it is education. So it has to come under education department. That's the first thing you all have to work on it. It has to come under education ministry, and then education department has to work on how we are going to implement these programs in different districts.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
I have one doubt, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm a student teacher from first year, ma'am, from Madurai.
Mhm.
I got many information due to this special education, ma'am. Because since I'm a first year, I didn't know about this all. I have one question. You may tell about more models, right, ma'am? Let us consider our India. We have many school segregated from the regular school. Is that helpful the special needs children to cope up, or if we incorporate them into regular classes, they will get flexible and easily comfort to the become an individual person in a society, ma'am?
So let me see what your question is. Is it possible to integrate them in a regular school? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, ma'am. Which one will more effective for the special needs children to become an individualized person in a society?
Well, as I said, there are models. Everything it depends upon the functional level of the student.
I am asking about the mental level of the student, ma'am. How can they hope up if they possible to incorporate, அதாவது அவங்க வந்து ரெகுலர் ஸ்கூல்ல படிக்கிறப்ப அவங்களுக்கு நாலேஜ் நிறைய கிடைக்கும், அதாவது அவங்க ஈஸியா வந்து அதோட இது பண்ணிப்பாங்களா, இல்ல வந்து செப்பரேட்டா நம்ம சொல்றப்போ வந்து அவங்க வந்து அதை எடுத்துப்பாங்களா அப்படின்ற மாதிரி கேக்குறேன்.
அதாம்மா, அது எப்படின்னா அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட் நல்லா படிக்கிறான், ஏதோ அந்த கொஞ்சம் பக்கத்துல இருந்து சொல்லி கொடுத்தா அதை செய்வான் அப்படிங்கிறவனுக்கு ரெகுலர் கிளாஸ் ரூம்ல உட்கார வச்சு அந்த பாடத்தை எல்லாம் அப்படியே சொல்லி கொடுக்கலாம். ஆனா யாரோ ஒருத்தர் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கணும். ஓகேவா? அது ஒண்ணு.
எஸ் மேம்.
நீ மென்டல்னு சொன்னது எனக்கு வந்து என்ன, நீ டெவலப்மெண்டல் டிசபிள் காக்னிட்டிவ் இம்பேர்மெண்ட் சொல்றியா?
காக்னிட்டிவ் இம்பேர்மெண்ட் உள்ள ஸ்டூடண்ட்ஸ்க்கு தான் மேம் கேக்குறேன்.
ஆமா, காக்னிட்டிவ் இம்பேர்மெண்ட் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்ல லிட்டில் ஹையர் லெவல் இருக்காங்க இல்லையா, ஹையர் லெவல் ஃபங்க்ஷனிங் லெவல் இருக்கு இல்லையா, லைக் பார்டர் லைன், லைக் 99.9 in IQ, or நல்ல எல்லாமே நல்லா தெரியும், மோட்டார் டிஃபிகல்டிஸ் கிடையாது, ஸ்பீச் டிஃபிகல்டி கிடையாது, சோஷியலைசேஷன் இஸ் வெரி குட், நோ பிஹேவியர் ப்ராப்ளம், வேற அந்த மாதிரிலாம் எதுவும் இல்லை. ஆனா இந்த படிக்கிறதுல மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் வந்து சில அப்டிராக்ட் திங்கிங் ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு, இல்ல சில ப்ராப்ளம் சால்விங் ஏதோ ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு கண்டுபிடிச்சா அந்த பிள்ளைங்க வந்து ரெகுலர் கிளாஸ் ரூம்ல இருக்கலாம். ஆனா அவங்களுக்கு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோ பேஸ்ல போவாங்க. நம்ம ஃபாஸ்டா படிச்சுட்டு போனாலும் இந்த பிள்ளைங்களுக்கு மாத்திரம் கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோ பேஸ்ல போவாங்க. அதான் சொன்ன ரிசோர்ஸ் ரூமுக்கு போவாங்கன்னு சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, ஐ டோல்ட் they'll go to a resource room. அந்த சமயத்துல என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, ரிசோர்ஸ் ரூம்ல போய் சொல்லி தருவாங்க. இன்னொரு ஆஸ்பெக்ட், இங்க நல்ல காலம் நீ அந்த கொஸ்டினை கேட்ட, இங்க வந்து நம்ம ஊர்ல இப்ப இந்த டாக்குமெண்ட்ல நான் பார்த்ததுல என்ன சொல்லுன்னா தெரியுதுன்னா, அவங்க எல்லாம் நம்ம வந்து இந்த ஆக்ட், டிசபிலிட்டி ஆக்ட் இல்ல இந்த NCERT ரிப்போர்ட் எல்லாம் பார்த்தா அதுல என்ன எழுதியிருக்காங்கன்னா, இந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இன்க்ளூசிவ் செட்டப்ல இருக்கணும், ஆனா 18 இயர்ஸ் வரைக்கும் இருக்கணும்னு போட்டிருக்காங்க.
எஸ் மேம்.
ஆனா இங்க யூஎஸ்ல எப்படின்னா ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு ஸ்டே இந்த ஸ்கூல் அன்டில் 22.
ஓகே.
இப்ப நீங்க கேட்ட மாதிரி அவங்க வந்து என்ன பண்ணலாம்னா இந்த 22 இயர்ஸ் வரைக்கும் அவங்க இந்த கிளாஸை இழுத்துட்டே போலாம்.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
புரியுதா? இந்த வருஷம் 2-3 கிளாஸ் பாஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க.
Okay.
அவங்களுக்கு ஸ்பெஷல் சப்போர்ட் கொடுப்பாங்க. அடுத்த வருஷம் 2-3 கிளாஸ் பாஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. அதுக்கு அடுத்த வருஷம் 22 வரைக்கும் இப்படி இழுத்துக்கிட்டே போவாங்க. 4 வருஷம் இருக்கே, 18ல இருந்து இன்னும் 4 வருஷம் இருக்குல்ல.
It can be a slower level.
எக்ஸாக்ட்லி. அந்த 22 ஆற வரைக்கும் பேரண்ட்ஸ் என் பையன் 22 வரைக்கும் ஸ்கூல்ல இருக்கட்டும், நீங்க மெதுவா சொல்லி கொடுத்து கிராஜுவேட் பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்கன்னா they will do it, they can stay until 22.
Okay, ma'am.
இந்த
Thank you,
low
ma'am.
functioning,
Thank you, ma'am.
இதுவே லோ ஃபங்க்ஷனிங் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வந்து என்ன செய்வாங்கன்னா அவங்களும் 22 இருக்கலாம், பட் they teach vocational, pre-vocational, vocational training.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Dear participants, please kind attention. Kind attention. Dear participants, please ask your questions in a chat box. It will be recorded and sent to the resource persons. The answers will be updated in the WhatsApp group immediately by tomorrow itself, and it will be recorded and circulated in the PDF form also. So it is getting too late. So all the questions will be answered. Yesterday also the questions have been taken to the resource person, Dr. Prabhakar Vincent, and he has written all those answers for that. It will be posted in the WhatsApp group respectively. So please post your questions in the chat box. Let it be the last question. So we shall wind up with the professor. Thank you, ma'am. So please, Geeta Da Vinci, go for vote of thanks. Kindly, please give your suggestions in the chat box. Your answers, your questions will be answered definitely, and it will be posted in the respective WhatsApp group. Thank you. Geeta Da Vinci, you may take over.
Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable insights on special education, and thank you, participants, for the question. The essence of all beautiful art is gratitude. Now, I would like to call Ms. N. Shajita Parvin, Assistant Professor in English and alumnus of LCE, for vote of thanks.
Warm greetings to one and all present here. Gratitude is a sign of noble souls. I great honor, privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making this tradition a resounding success. It is the biggest day in the history of our college. Today, we have hosted the second day of a one-week international faculty development program on facets of teaching, which was a huge success in itself. On behalf of Tamil Nadu Education University and Chief College of Education, first and foremost, I thank our honorable resource person, Ms. Padma Rajagopal, consultant, special education teacher from TEDx USA, for her thought-provoking session about the role of education, teachers in special education. For your wonderful session, you really made us to understand and explore the vital role of special education, ma'am. You are impeccably highlighted. The teacher's role is not only to teach the subjects, but also to provide other trainings such as mobility training, self-care training, preparation of teaching materials according to the need of the disabled, differently abled children, training in use and maintenance of aids, and so on. You have a different time zone in USA. Your session was very energetic and lively, ma'am. You made it a fruitful day for all of us. Thank you, ma'am. And next, I would like to thank all the respected representatives from various universities and colleges who have blessed us with their presence today. I also thank the organizing team and staff members for their support and contribution to make this event a grand success. I would also like to thank the technical team and Tamil America TV channel. Without you, this online program would not have been possible. Last but not the least, I express my sincere thanks to all the participants who made this session a huge success. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shajita. Thank you, Shajita, for your wonderful work. It's time for next session. Great things happen to those who don't stop believing, learning, and being grateful. I humbly invite the Director of TNTEU, Dr. C. Subramanian, to introduce the resource person. Sir?
I'm audible? I'm audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, thank you. Most respected resource person, Professor Theo Sian Hoon, madam. most respected organizing committee members, most respected participants, most respected our special guest, Professor Ajit Singh Rana sir. My warm and special good afternoon to one and all gathered here, and it's my great privilege and it's my great honor to introduce about the resource person of the second session, Professor Chio Sian Hoon. So, Professor, Faculty of Education, University Technology, Mara, Malaysia. She has obtained her BSc in Science and Computer with Education from University Technology, Malaysia, and MSc Statistics from University Science Malaysia, and Doctor of Philosophy from University Science Malaysia. She has a series of publications to her credit in reputed journals and reputed books. She has guided many M.Ed scholars and PhD scholars. Her areas of specializations are modern algebra, modern geometry, statistical analysis for educational researchers, research methodology, introduction to qualitative research, problem solving in mathematics, probability, and linear algebra. She has completed many research projects like Smart Community in Mathematics Education, a conceptual model for Malaysian postgraduate students to graduate on time, mathematical thinking for teaching research group, transition in writing from secondary school to higher education. She has authored and edited many books. She has contributed chapters in various books. Amidst your busy schedule, you are sparing your valuable time with us to grace this occasion more meaningful and more delightful. And we are more privileged to have an opportunity to listen to you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation to deliver your ideas about postgraduate supervision. Thank you, ma'am, and welcome. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Subramanian, for your introduction. And also thank you very much, Ms. Mata, for your informative sharing about special education. I believe that your time over there is, I think, very morning, 2 o'clock. My time over here is 2:30 p.m. and very good afternoon. Today, I would like to share about postgraduate supervision. We can see that there are challenges among special needs education teachers. We also believe that there are challenges among postgraduate students. So I would like to thanks again for giving us opportunity to learn together in this webinar, this program. 3 of us, Dr. Kati, Dr. Gita, and myself, Theo, are from University Technology, Mara, Malaysia. Dr. Kati will present on Friday, and Dr. Gita will present on Wednesday. So now I am going to share about postgraduate supervision. Let me show the slides here. I will talk from my slide. Can everyone see this slide? I'm presenting now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Now, today I would like to share about postgraduate supervision. I'm Teo from University Technology, Mara, Malaysia. These are all public university in Malaysia. Okay, there are so many public university. We start with the first one. This is International Islamic University Malaysia. The second one is Islamic Science University Malaysia. This is my university, University Technology Mara, Malaysia. This is University Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia. This is the National University of Malaysia, or we call it UKM, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. This is University Utara Malaysia. This is University Putra Malaysia. This is University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. This is Teacher Education University. And this is University Sultan Zainal Abidin. And this is University Technical Malaysia Melaka. and this is University Tun Hussein On Malaysia. This is University Malaysia Sabah and University Malaysia Sarawak, University Malaysia Terengganu, University Technology Malaysia. This is I study in this university, and I also study in this university, University Science Malaysia. I graduated from these two universities. Okay, so I graduated from public university in Malaysia. Now talking about special needs education in Malaysia, actually we also focus in public university. There are 5 universities offering this program. First one is University International Islamic University Malaysia, offering a special needs education program. University Malaya also offering, and there are some more University Pendidikan. This is Teacher Education University, and University Science Malaysia, and last one is University Kebangsaan Malaysia. This is the National University of Malaysia. So there are 5 universities offering special needs education in public university. So other than these 20 universities in Malaysia, we also have 47 private universities in Malaysia. Okay, so let's look at these universities. Here are all public universities in Malaysia. So each university, they have different time allocated to complete their master and PhD program. So all these universities have their own duration of studies. So a postgraduate student can complete their study between this stipulated time given. So let's look into this one. So we can see that actually for this university, for full-time program, they are given 1 to 3 semesters. This indicates semesters, okay? So meaning that it's about 1 to 2 years for full-time program. Okay, so this one is a part-time program. Over here are time given, duration time given for part-time program. So we can see that the shortest time given is 2 to 4 semesters. So meaning that is 1 to 2 years. Okay, so different university, they have allocate different duration of time of study. So for PhD program, we can see that full-time given a shortened time, it's about some given 6 to 12 semesters, means that 3 to 6 years. So 1 year consists of 2 semesters. So the shortest time given is 2 to 4 semesters, meaning that 1 to 2 years for full-time program. So for part-time program, they are given a longer time. For this university, time given is 6 to 14 semesters, meaning that 3 to 7 years. And this university offer 3 to 7 semesters, meaning that is about 1.5 year to 3.5 years. Okay. So that we are talking about graduate on time. Even though my university, University Technology Mara, they just change. Actually, they just change the duration of study. Part-time and full-time students, they are given 2 semesters to 8 semesters to complete master program. But when talking about graduate on time, they must graduate if they can successfully graduate in 24 months. 24 months means that 2 years from date of registration, then they can consider as graduate on time. But for PhD program, we also have the same duration of study time, and part-time, full-time students, they are given 5 semesters to 14 semesters. Then they consider graduate on time if they successfully graduate within 48 months from the date of registration. So meaning that 48 months means that 4 years. Okay, so here we have 10 university, public university. I only share about public university. So here we have another 10 public university. Okay. So we can see that the time almost the same. At least they need to, they are given, the minimum is 2 semesters, meaning that 1 year for full-time. And also for part-time, longer, 4 semesters, the minimum is 4 semesters, meaning that 2 years. And for PhD program, full-time, they are given minimum 2 years. For part-time students, a bit longer, minimum 6 semesters means that 3 years. Okay, so they have different allocation of time. So what we can see here, if we calculate average, so averagely full-time program for master, the universities offer 2 to 6 semesters, meaning that 1 to 3 years. Because 1 year consists of 2 semesters. And for part-time program, averagely, if we count, it's about 4 to 9 semesters, meaning that 2 years to 4.5 years. Okay, so PhD program, if registered for full-time, they are given 4 to 10 semesters, meaning that 2 to 5 years. And part-time, a bit longer, averagely is 6 to 13 semesters, 3 to 6.5 years. So this is overall about our public university in Malaysia. Okay, so now today, I would like to share about some things. This is about sharing. I believe that we can learn from each other. Okay, so I believe that from my sharing, maybe we can further discuss later and look forward for more collaboration. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce my university, University Technology Mara, Malaysia. Secondly, I would like to share about research, my research, together with my co-researcher. This is one of the research. I would like to share the research findings. The research is about a conceptual model for Malaysian postgraduate students to graduate on time. And then I would like to share something on some practices among postgraduate supervisors. Specifically, I would like to share my own experience. Okay. And also, I would like to highlight some research collaboration. What kind of research that we can collaborate? Okay, this is my university. Okay, so this University Technology Mara, Malaysia, has 35 campuses all over in Malaysia, all the places in Malaysia. Okay, currently we have 1,089,008 students, and postgraduate students we have 3,290. Okay, it's a big university. Okay, about the programs, we have 498 programs. And we have academic staff and also support staff. With this number, 17,969. So this is a very big university. Okay, welcome to our university, specifically to our faculty of education. Okay, now this is our country, Malaysia. So our campuses all over Malaysia, they are University Technology Mara. Okay, so my campus, currently I'm working at this place, University Technology Mara Campus Puncak Alam, Selangor. This place is nearby to our main campus. Our main campus is at Shah Alam, Selangor. Same state, Selangor. Okay. So So you can have a view on this campus. You can see, please, you are welcome to our campus. Okay, now about faculties. We have applied so many faculties. We have applied sciences, architecture, planning, surveying, computer, mathematical sciences. We have engineering, 4 faculties of engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, health sciences, medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, plantation, technology, plantation, agro-technology, sports science and recreation, administrative science and policy studies, art and design, communication and media studies, education. I'm in this faculty, education. Okay, again, welcome to our faculty. And this is film, theater, animation, law, music, accountancy, business and management, hotel and tourism management, information management, and we also have Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, Academy of Language Studies. Okay, this is about our faculties. So now I'm going to share and introduce our postgraduate education institution. Actually, our postgraduate education institution are very active. We have many events. You can always go to the Facebook to join the event, and this is the upcoming events. Okay, you can go to the Facebook and join the events. Okay, so this is about how to read journal article and build models for your research. Okay, so far so good. Okay. Now this is my campus. My campus is Puncak Alam, Selangor. Okay, so I would like to share that this is our faculty. You can always come to our faculty. Beautiful campus. Okay, this is my faculty, and this is health sciences faculty. Pharmacies over here just beside us, and across the road we have accountancy, business, and you can see the environment, very nice environment. Please visit us. Okay, thank you. And our faculty, we have 85 active lecturers, where we have 7 lecturers. They are on their leave, example, study leave, postdoc leave, and etc. And we have 1 foundation program, okay, and we have 1 postgraduate diploma. We have 7 undergraduate programs, okay, and we have 6 postgraduate programs. So this is about our faculty. Okay, let me introduce my top management about Faculty of Education, our Dean, Associate Professor Dr. Sharifah Rozaina Sheikh Aris. She's sending regards to everybody. She couldn't join for this webinar, and definitely we would like to welcome everybody to our faculty, and we look forward for more collaboration. And our Deputy Dean Academic Affairs, Dr. Hamimah Hashim, okay, and Deputy Dean Students Affairs, Dr. Zarizi Abdul Rahman, and Deputy Dean Research and Industrial Linkages, Dr. Muhammad Khairizan Rahman. All of them welcome everybody to our faculties, and we look for more collaboration. Okay, they all also send regards to everybody. Now come to second part, is about postgraduate supervision study. This is about research outcome. Now this research has been completed by myself, Theo, Dr. Gita, Prof. Chan, and Dr. Lim. We all from University Technology Mara. And we also engage, work together with Professor Gunam and Dr. Priya. They are from Sergi University as well as Health University in Malaysia. So actually our purpose of study is to construct a concept model about postgraduate students motivation towards graduate on time. Okay, so this study is a survey research study. So we collected data from 191 postgraduate students as well as 39 supervisors. We also interviewed 11 postgraduate students and 13 supervisors. So all the data collected in one region, which is Klang Valley, Malaysia. We're focusing on just one region. Okay. So the purpose of this study is to construct model on graduate on time, focusing on motivation towards graduate on time, which we give an acronym as MGOT. The M here stands for motivation. So we believe that actually special needs children, they need support and motivation. It's also same to postgraduate students. They really need motivation. Okay, to ensure that they can successfully go through their path, motivation is very important. So here come to the first research question. What are the postgraduates' levels of motivation towards graduate on time? So the motivation here we divide into two parts, which is intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. We can see that from this result, their intrinsic motivation is higher than extrinsic. Okay, so this is overall level of motivation. So why this intrinsic motivation is higher? We can see that actually they need intrinsic motivation more. So they are looking for this kind of motivation, for example, encouragement and feedback from supervisors and some support of academic part of support from supervisors. Okay, so we can see that, but we comparing first year students and their seniors, we notice that actually first year students, their level of motivation is higher compared to their senior. Okay, meaning that they get motivated during the time they enter the university, but maybe they encounter some problems during the progress after first year. Maybe they find difficulties, especially the writing part, okay, when they move on. Okay, therefore we can see that overall, the motivation among first year students is a bit higher. But this is just descriptive data for the first research question. So we move on to look into how significant it is. So this is the result, looking into this motivation. And it found that it's really significant difference among these two groups of students, where the first year students, their motivation level is comparatively higher than their senior. Okay, so now it's come to another part on putting in some reason why their motivations, what other factors contribute to the level of motivation. So I go to the next research question. Okay, so basically it is because the contributing factor from intrinsic motivation. Okay. So I would like to share about some interview outcome about motivation. This is some interview outcome. Just looking into respondent one, he mentioned that I find my supervisor very approachable as she always motivates me. It indicates that they look forward, the supervisors, to motivate them and give me confidence. She is also willing to share information. So actually our postgraduate students really look forward for supervisors sharing and guidance. Okay. So this is about view from supervisors. So supervisors, one of the supervisors say that I think it is important to motivate them. They always motivate so that the students can move further and get to the path to graduate on time. So I think supervisors themselves, like me, I always show my passionate. I like to and love to guide them, because it is something like try to get the students graduate on time. Now their aim is graduate on time. Okay, well, again, is graduate on time. It's not that simple. It's not simple, actually. The supervisor need to contribute a lot, sacrifice one thing, and you have to spend a lot of time. We as supervisors always keep track. Keep track means that monitor the students' performance, okay, and always give feedback. So another supervisors also share that supervisors should provide encouragement and motivation to their students about these patients and convince the postgraduate students, and also build postgraduate students' confidence into the area of study. So encourage postgraduate students to have constant communications. They need to communicate, whether through any whatever technology, like just now Ms. Fatma shared about the technology is very important for communications, for keep track, for supports, and etc. And update the research with supervisors. This is crucial. Make it periodical, with constant without or updates. So only that will move the research. So we are so confident that really the encouragement, the motivation is very, very important. Yeah? So now come to the next research question about factors contribute to motivation. So actually this motivation factor is the dependent variable. I'm looking at how this factor influence motivation factor. So among these three factors, supervisor factor, student factor, institutional factor, we can see that supervisor factor show higher compared to the other factor. This is based on students' perception. Actually, we can see that actually all the students satisfied with their supervisors' contribution. They are very dedicated. So the postgraduate students rated a high rating for supervisors' factors. They're very satisfied. The thing is, they're facing a lot of problems because of some encouragements in terms of research skills, and also maybe in terms of how to motivate themselves to move forward and how they manage themselves. Okay. So in this study, actually, we investigate some dimension about supervisor factors. Part of the dimension is about supervisors' practices, role, responsibility, and competency. Okay, these are the dimension in this study. About the three factors, we can see that students factor and institutional factor, actually from this result, we can see that significantly contribute to the model. But supervisors factor not really contribute to the model, meaning that the students actually, whether they're motivated or not motivated, is depend on the factor of students factor and institutional factors. Okay, so now I would like to share about students factors. Okay, so what are the factors that we assess over here? It is research skills, personal skills, writing skills, critical reading skill, and conceptual skills. From our finding, we found that, from our analysis, we found that actually writing skill, critical reading skills, and conceptual skills really contribute to the research skills. And therefore, we have research skill and personal skills significantly influence to the model. So this is another analysis for research question 3. So I'm still discussing about students factor. So just now I highlight research skill and personal skills. Actually, these two skills significantly, these are the contributing factor for this model, to this model, okay? So now I come to the next factor, which is institutional factor. So these are the two dimensions we focus, and in our study, this is support and facilities. So our further analysis, we can see that now I'm focusing on institutional factor, where we can see that facilities not directly contribute to the population.
The person you are calling is not answering. Please try later.
But however, facilities actually influence support, so that we only can see that support directly contribute to motivation. So meaning that facilities indirectly contribute to the motivation, where supports is the most important thing, where we can see that how our university or our faculty support the students with the existing facilities, where the facilities not directly contribute to motivation, but indirectly. So now I would like to share about some students factor. Just now I highlight that students factor, we can focus on personal factors and also research skill factor. Okay, so I would like to share about some experience, supervisor experience, and I'm focusing on my experience. Okay, so about how to enhance, to motivate students from the perspective of personal factor. So the personal factor here is about management, how to manage the students and guide them to manage themselves. They need to be independent. They cannot always depend on supervisors, so that they need some motivation for them to move on with some management skill. Okay, so here I'm focusing on technology also, how technology help. Now, students actually they will be very happy if supervisors keep on reminding them, so that we have this technology help the supervisor to remind the students that I'm using this actually this is online applications. It is called Travel. Okay, you can see that over here, Travel, we can always register. So here I divide, this is my design. You always can design differently, but this is my design. I call it hybrid supervision, is my demonstration, how I design. Okay, so when a supervisor, I myself assign a task to the student, ask the student to read certain part or assign some work to them, so I will assign over here. So if the students have not read about the message, I know already that these students not doing any work. So I will remind these students because he did not click in. Okay, so if he submit, then I have to read. If I not read, also indicate some mark over here. Okay, so if they already done something, I already read and give comment, so I can drag the work towards completed work, completed task, already complete. So I can just drag to the other side. So I already aware that this student already completed. Okay, so these are the things that I may divide into a few parts. This is completion of a task. This is completion of chapters. Okay, so meaning that these are the progress. These are the completed chapters. So I also allocate to remind them to go for training. So I assign them to go, for example, writing literature review, research methodology. I found that maybe they have not enough skill, they need some skills. they need some motivation, so they are reminded to go to the training. So everything so actually the point here is motivation. Okay, all right. So these are the tasks. This task has been completed, so I move to the other side. So indicate that the task has already completed. So these are the training session. So now I would like to share about research skills under students' factors. So we notice that students, they really need encouragement, motivation to move on. So they need some skills. So it's about writing skills, it's about reading, critical reading, and it's about conceptual skills, right? So overall, we found that actually literature review is the most important part for them to move on because all the chapters must come together with literature review, especially to establish the validity. So that here today, I would like to share how we can motivate our students in writing literature review. Okay. So actually, there are so many types of literature review. We can see that we have traditional literature review, systematic literature review, meta-analysis, meta-synthesis. But for my students, I not really encourage them to meta-analysis because maybe they need some more special training. For my supervision, I only train them between these two literature review. So today, I just share about a very simple way to guide students in writing literature review. Okay. First of all, the students must understand why they need to write literature review. They must understand that they need to demonstrate their knowledge, to form the basic of literature, to show there is a gap, then justify the gap in the research, and actually provide basic to construct conceptual model, and also to build foundation of methodology. Okay, they must understand these are the reasons why they need to properly go through literature review. So this is an example of template. Can let the students to try. Okay, so first of all, the students can put in the references and about method from the article and the key argument they found and the key quotes. Maybe the original text they can just copy here. They just tentatively they copy the original text from the article that related to their research, and later on they define the gap. And they can write more notes and put in subtopic. They themselves have to identify the subtopic. They can put from this reference. So today I would like to share on this part how to guide the students. To just copy the key quotes from the article and write their notes. Okay. So this is just my sharing. Maybe other supervisors, they have their own way to guide students. Okay. So this is one example. Okay. So from here, this piece of work refer to original text from a newspaper. New Straits Times.
Sorry, madam.
Yes.
Sorry, excuse me, madam. Sorry, your template is not clearly viewed, so I request you to maximize. It is not viewable to others. Thank you. So you are presenting the slides now, so it is not visible. So the slides are not visible to others.
It is visible. It is visible. Please pin the presentation slide of madam. Madam, please pin the presentation slide. Okay, it is visible. Please check your visible.
Can I move?
Okay, thank you, madam.
Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Dear ma'am, you can continue. Please, ma'am. Please. Thank you.
Sorry, I cannot see each other. I
Yes,
cannot
yes,
see
yes.
my slides.
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am. It is visible. Please, you can continue, ma'am. Please, you can continue.
Thank you, thank you.
Madam,
Okay,
madam, 5 to 10 minutes is more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Please plan accordingly. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for this original text, I highlight in red to indicate that some points that is related to my study. So I would like to use this knowledge, and I write from this piece of work. Okay, so this one at the master's and postgraduate level, University Malaya, UM is University Malaya, students are expected to acquire ability to make evidence-based decisions critically and creatively. So this one, all these texts I need to synthesize so that I can write critically. So when I read through, I need to ask myself about these things. So from here, I can define the ability to make evidence-based decision critically and creatively is about 21st century skills, so that I can proceed to synthesize this work. So I write in this way. Postgraduate students are expected to acquire 21st century skills such as, I use the word here, such as making decision critically and creatively. So this one, I already defined this one as 21st century skills. So this one, I take this point here, making decisions critically and constantly upgrade knowledge and skills. So I say upskill. So why? The reason over here, I interpret as hence improve employment opportunity. So this one is my work. I understand from this piece of knowledge from this resource. This is a reference. So this is citation, Rosanna. Rosanna is I put here citation. Okay. So the second part, from here, I can see that it's defined about challenges. So these challenges actually is about postgraduate challenges in two aspects, social cultural aspect and also research writing skills aspect. So in terms of research writing, is about academic writing skills, limited knowledge about thesis writing. Okay, so they are facing this problem because insufficient academic preparation. Therefore, I get from here the information turned into my knowledge. So I write from this. I can just synthesize in this way. It has been observed that the process of conducting and completing a research study is fraught with challenges. There are many challenges for many postgraduate students, particularly among those who embark on postgraduate studies with little preparation research work. Okay, because insufficient academic preparation, so just little preparation research work. So I put the citation over here. Okay. So now I'm going to combine this writing and this writing. So it's become my literature review. So just now, I highlight this one, the first piece in black. Postgraduate students are expected to acquire 21st century skills such as making decisions critically, upskills, and hence improve employment opportunities. So this is from Rosanna. And another part, it has been observed that the process of conducting and completing a research study is fraught with challenges for many postgraduate students, particularly among those who embark on postgraduate studies with little preparation research work. Okay, another citation. So with these two citations, I just add however. So it's nicely flow. Okay, so that I will, from here, I start adding my own idea over any part of these two pieces of work. So I just add, in recent years, much attention has turned in, towards postgraduate supervisions and students' performance as they provide indicators of research progress and output, which in turn will contribute to the prestige of institutions. So I continue with the one that I review, and I continue also, I add up some words over here. It is therefore hardly surprising that these students struggle to complete their study in the time given. So in the face of many real difficulties faced, for example, getting started on valuable research topic for formulating research question, doing the literature review, and or choosing the best research design. So this is about literature review. Okay. So we can use a few software. Actually, Eclat and Vivo can help the students to organize their literature review. But today I'm not sharing these two because the students, if they did not pay for these two softwares, they cannot continue to use this software for whole life. They need to pay. They only can download for trial version. So that now I would like to share this software. This is software is about writing literature review. It's an innovations from researchers from our faculty, University Technology Malaysia. So there are a few researchers working on this. So now I would like to share on this, and let me share from my guideline. So this is about the software, okay? Can you see the software? Here, I just display from guide. So in this software, actually the researcher can just start with a new file. And then here they input the information about articles that they read, the title, the author, year, and publication, okay? So they can start keying the information so that the one that they key in is about, they need to put some findings over here. Here we have two parts. The first part is about book. Book is about information from the reference. Then you click findings. Findings means that you put in some text from original text from the article. So these are the findings they can key in. Okay, meaning that say that they read the first article, so they just copy paste over here. No need to type anymore. Just copy and paste. Okay, then they can start another reference. They can start book number 2 and etc. and going on, move on. So one they already done, then they can go to the second stage. It's about indicate the subtopic. So they can assign the subtopic based on whatever they want. They decide from their reading subtopic in literature review. Okay, so here after deciding the subtopic, they can go to matching. Okay, so matching meaning that they just here we can see that just now we decide 2 subtopic. The first one is communication skills and drama. The second one is drama. So they just click the title. They just click the title means that this is about the first book, second book, third book, and fourth. We have 4 pieces of references. So they just click one and here display whatever they already key in. So they can just drag whatever related to the related subtopic. Say that this text suitable to put under this subtopic, they just drag. So that now I have many on, they just drag whatever subtopic whatever text related to that subtopic. So now I already successfully compiled everything to the related text. So now I can start doing writing. So I go to whatever collection, I just click on the subtopic. So whatever text that I drag under this subtopic already appear here, so that I can write according to all this content. Okay, so this will help us to move on to see any related part to contribute to this subtopic, and we write our own text. Okay, so that the next one, we can just click report. Once we click report, it's auto-generate our literature review. Okay, let me demonstrate the ready-made piece of work by using this software. Okay, let me show. So this is the software. I would like to show about the the work that I have done. So this is the example work I done. I already key in everything. Okay, so this is the word that key in. You can see that I can see the subtopic importance of learning fractions, fraction and teaching fraction. These are the subtopic, and this is the I can call the subtopic. So these are the texts that I drag from the references. And this subtopic, I also drag from the references. You can see, you can scroll down, okay, so that I can write this one. This is my writing. So I can just click report. So I generate. So I click Word. So it will save to this file. So I go back to the file. So this is a report generated from the software. So the students can continue to proceed their literature review. If they want to go back to the software, also can, no problem. They can modify from this Microsoft Word. Okay, they can always, they can just delete this one if they don't want. Okay, so this is about literature review. So lastly, I would like to share that research collaboration. So actually our Faculty of Education, University Technology Mara, currently we launched 2 grants, which is Faculty of Education Internal Research Grant 2021. We just approved a few grants from this grant, for this grant, so that I welcome all researchers to work together with us. We also have another grant. We have another grant which is Faculty of Education Research Matching Grant. So we look forward to work together to get to join this grant. So the allocation for this fund is about Malaysian ringgit is 10,000. If 10,000 and contribution from the other party 10,000, okay. So if this is 20,000, so if it turn into Indian rupee, is about 355,987. I counted. Okay. So we look for collaborators. Tentatively, we have university from Indonesia. We are currently in the process to process 25 research proposals for this grant. So this is the example of topic that we are working on. Social learning environment features for online collaborative learning in enhancing critical thinking, developing social creativity in the production of visual design among higher education students in Malaysia through online collaborative learning. Okay. We also have university grant. Currently, we also welcome postdoctoral position in our university. Can also visit our website for this grant. Is still open. So this is some requirements. So we can check this requirement in the website. We also have strategic research partnership grant, young talent research grant, and also some Myra research grants. We have many others, not only this one. Okay, we have national grants. So this grant is for Ministry of Education. Can always visit our website, Ministry of Education Malaysia. And this grant just launched, okay, is from Ministry Science, Technology and Innovation. Can always go to the website. Okay, lastly, I would like to express my gratitude to Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Lakshmi College of Education, for giving us opportunity to share idea and also to learn together here. Especially to Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Panchanantan, Chairman from Lakshmi College of Education, Professor Dr. Pankajam, and also special thanks to the organizers, Dr. Balakrishnan, Dr. Govindan, Sir Siva Kumar, Dr. Mani, Dr. Malaviti, Associate Professor Dana Lakshmi, Assistant Professor Uma Heshwari, Assistant Professor Kalai Bani, Assistant Professor Divan Dracula, Dr. Kanan, Dr. Kartik Deepa, Dr. Shankar, Dr. Mr. Austin, and to all community supervisors, lecturers, students, participants, and all friends. That's all about my sharing, and also I look forward to learn together. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your enlightening speech. Participants, if you have any queries, please unmute your audio and shoot the question.
Thank you, ma'am. Professor Theo, ma'am. This is Dr. Subramanian, Organizing Secretary of this FDP program. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. You have done a great job. So on behalf of the organizing team, we wholeheartedly thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gita Da Vinci, you may proceed. Gita Da Vinci, you may ask Sophia.
Okay, sir. Gratitude is one of the most powerful human emotions. I invite Ms. MSP Sophia, student of Lakshmi College of Education, to deliver vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to everyone present here. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. Honorable dignitaries and the most valuable guests, it's my privilege to put my gratitude into words. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's program a resounding success. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to the Honorable Vice Chancellor, most respected Registrar, Dean of Faculty, Director, all other higher authorities, and the faculties of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. Thank you all for your continuous support. My immense thanks to the beloved Chairman, the most Honorable Secretary, the respectable Principal, the respected faculties, the alumni, the student teachers of Lakshmi College of Education. Thank you all for your guidance and support. I owe my special thanks to our special guest, Dr. P. Subramanian, Deputy Director, Center for National and International Collaborations, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, for honoring the resource person by your words. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the organizing team and all the participants, I would like to extend my heartiest gratitude to our resource person, Professor Dr. Teo Shan Hoon, Faculty of Education, University Technology Mara, at points on postgraduate supervision. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your thought-provoking address with the interesting presentation. You have shared the master and research programs and the integration provided by the University Technology Mara and also the Malaysia. You have listed the significance of motivation and highlighted the factors and skills that helps for the student factors. You have explained the challenges, hurdles faced by the postgraduate supervisors. At last, you have given the ideas to make the interactive literature review really enlightened us. Your research study had really inspired us. Thank you for your informative session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's my immense our deep sense of appreciation to our organizing teams of the Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and the Lakshmi College of Education for providing minute-to-minute guidance and hard work on organizing this program. My heartfelt thanks to our media partner, Tamil America TV, USA, who helps in taking the program all around the globe on live broadcasting. I would like to convey my thanks to Ms. K. Priyadosni, Lakshmi College of Education, for a simple and meaningful welcome note. My immense gratitude to Ms. P. Geeta Da Vinci, alumnus, Lakshmi College of Education, for her Master of Ceremony. I thank all the distinguished invitees present here for accepting our invitation. Thank you all. At last, I thank all the participants who have joined through Meet and YouTube for your cooperation in making this program a grand success. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Once again, I thank you all for being vibrant and positive. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Sir,